Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So, something happened today, and it wasn't necessarily a good thing on the surface level. However, the underlying motivation for this is actually something that is insanely positive, because we've heard for months, if not even years now, Donald Trump can't win. He can't win in 2024, they say. They say that he would make the Republican Party dead on arrival. They say every single poll that has Donald Trump trouncing Joe Biden is entirely fabricated to fit a narrative. Just insane conspiratorial stuff. And I understand why some people may believe that, because we haven't had a lot of good news for a while. But nevertheless, I don't think we should sit back here and act like it's guaranteed. I don't think we should be complacent. But the people that say it can't happen at all, they're just living in a different reality, because the actual facts, and you have to look at what's actually happening. What is Congress doing? Where's the money going exactly? Well, they decided today to approve legislation that would prevent any president from withdrawing the U.S. from NATO without the approval from the Senate or an act of Congress. Joe Biden is not ever going to even consider withdrawing from NATO. Neither would most other future establishment Republican presidential contenders. This was put in there for one reason in terms of the whole bill. This is one little part of the full bill, but this is an interesting part, because what does this show? It shows they're preparing for something. I'm not even saying Donald Trump would withdraw the U.S. from NATO. And there is this debate about the constitutionality of that, and there's also the debate about the constitutionality of this. So we don't know if this could get thrown out by the Supreme Court. But nevertheless, there's only one real threat to the U.S. leaving NATO, and that would be Donald Trump becoming president again. It wouldn't be guaranteed, obviously, but we know that there's only one real serious contender for president that people are raising that actually could do that, at least for 2024. And what does this show? It shows that they're not discounting the possibility of another Trump presidency. They are starting to take precautionary measures to limit possible positive effects from the Donald Trump administration. Whether you think that we should stay in NATO or you think it's realistic to withdraw or not is completely irrelevant. The bottom line is they are anticipating a Donald Trump 2024 victory. They are bracing for impact, as some water buffalo said about 7 years ago. And that's exactly what they're doing. They know Biden's not going to step aside. And there's been polling recently that showed if he steps aside for Newsom would actually lose by a wider margin. I don't know if that would stand a year from now, but they've basically run out of time to replace Joe Biden as the Democrat nominee. There's virtually no chance that they're going to do it at this point, and if they were to do it for health reasons, they'd probably replace him with none other than Kamala Harris. She would be second in line, and she probably would perform a lot worse than Biden, because she is absolutely universally despised as well. Biden's universally despised. Kamala's universally despised. I mean, Newsom's more of like a unknown quantity to a lot of people, but I mean, even then with the debate he had with DeSantis, he didn't really shine. I thought that he could take advantage of DeSantis's lack of charisma, but he really didn't take advantage of it at all. And even though, as Donald Trump said, he did pretty well given the fact that the facts were just completely not on his side, he didn't do good enough for me to sit back here and say, okay, well, this guy is going to be presidential material. This guy is going to be capable of beating Trump. So either way, it doesn't seem like they're going to go out there and replace Biden, because they can't. They're running out of time, like I've said. Filing deadlines for primaries have basically already passed. You could say it could be done at a convention, but it kind of just calls back to the people that said, well, Hillary Clinton would get the nomination at the 2020 DNC. Obviously, it never happened, and that we know. But it's like, yeah, Trump is going to be the Republican nominee at this point, unless you're in complete and total denial or mental breakdown. You can acknowledge it's probably going to be the case. There's really nothing anybody else can do. He's up big in Iowa. Even in the most accurate gold standard poll, he's up by like 31 points. That's not going to change in a month because we have 32 days until the Iowa caucuses. New Hampshire, he's going to win. DeSantis probably gets third place there. South Carolina, Trump is going to trounce Nikki in her home state. And then he's going to go out there Super Tuesday. If anyone else is still in the race, he's still going to clear the field. It's going to be an epic beatdown of epic proportions in the Republican primary, but also the general election. Biden's struggling. We talk about it nearly every video, but you guys know it by now. Biden is absolutely struggling, and Donald Trump is starting to pull away from Biden. It's not even like it's a competitive race at this point in the popular vote, and Trump is gaining. This is not like Biden's falling and Trump is sitting there at like 40%. Biden's like in the 30s, and there's all these undecideds. I mean, in these polls, there are undecideds, no doubt, but it's like 8%. And Trump wins if he gets 47% of the popular vote. Make no mistake, and he's always outperformed the polls. He always has. And you're looking at that. If he gets decent turnout and Republicans start to use the election system even just a little bit more to their advantage, not even like, they don't even have to go full Democrats with everything, but they just gotta, have more people slightly voting early, at least don't demonize it as much as they've done in years past. Well, that's gonna be enough to rectify it. And I'm not saying take it for granted. I'm not saying that things can't change, because they absolutely can, but Donald Trump is the favorite. We have only 11 months, not even, before Election Day. And you have a divided field on the Republican side, a lot more so than on the Democrat side, and Trump still is trouncing Biden. So this tweet put it pretty well, that Donald Trump is beginning to pull away. Keep in mind, at no point in the entire 2020 election cycle did Trump lead Biden in the RCP polling average. And this is true. Not once did he lead. I think there may have been like a few polls, you could probably count them on one hand, that showed Donald Trump up in the popular vote. So yeah, it's time for us to stop rejecting this as an absurdity and start to consider that Trump's consistent polling lead may actually be a very real phenomenon, driven at least in part by the fact that Biden is now the least popular one-term president in modern history, or first-term president, and you could see that here. Biden's approval rating has fallen in Pew Research, which is pretty accurate, I would say, looking at it over the years. He's fallen to 33% approval. That's an all-time low. And this is not some pollster that is like a right-leaning internal. No, this is a pollster that is well-respected. They're rarely wrong whatsoever. Even in 2022, they kind of like matched the exit polls there with that. But it's like, yeah, Biden's presidency, he's got a lot of Democrats that are disaffected from his presidency. I suspect a lot of those may vote third party in 2024. I mean, you're seeing that there, RFK Jr., he's rising in the polls in terms of him taking votes away from Democrats, more so than him taking votes away from Republicans. And we saw polling the other day that shows that he's only really getting a ridiculous share of the vote, like Ross Perot level, if like Nikki Haley's the nominee. With DeSantis, he does a little bit worse. But when Donald Trump is there, Trump is getting most of the Republicans in those polls. Donald Trump is the most electable candidate given what's happening, given the environment right now, even when you poll the fact that he could get convicted on one of these cases. There's really nothing they can really do to stop him at this point. Biden's approval could miraculously rise, but as of right now, unless Trump completely like implodes, which I don't see that happening, they understand that Trump is more likely than not going to be the next president. Even though they've indicted him 4 times, it has not affected him in the polls. Some people said it would cause him to crash and burn. It didn't. A lot of people laughed at me for quoting Elon Musk saying that if Donald Trump got convicted, he could win in a landslide because of it and because of the backlash to it. People laughed at him, people laughed at me, but he's gained since the indictments. I don't know what a conviction would really do, but at this point, I think it would just energize his own side, because a lot of people have their minds made up if Trump is guilty or not. I think the same thing goes for the whole Biden stuff, but Biden is just so universally reviled that it's probably more likely that this whole impeachment inquiry that they're opening up, which is not the same thing as an impeachment vote, by the way, but there's more of a chance that it sticks, which helps out Trump overall. And part of the reason why Trump surged today in the aggregate was because of the fact that you saw Rasmussen came out with another poll, because Rasmussen, for some reason, Even though it's typically been viewed as a right-leaning pollster, it was the only poll in there that had Biden up by a decent amount, by 4 points, which still could give Trump an electoral college victory. They released a poll showing Trump up by 10. It's a very schizophrenic pollster, and it's usually very right or very wrong, but let's just take the difference of these two polls. And we can see what that is. You have Trump plus 10 and Biden plus 4. The middle of those two would be Trump plus 3, which would be more than enough to give Donald Trump a sizable victory in 2024. And you could say the polls are fake or flawed. As of right now, I disagree, because every single poll, the polls that were right in 2022, the polls that were wrong in 2022, the polls in every single swing state or every single state in general showcase this. Now, maybe something can change. Technically, things can change. We know that. It's politics. But there's no real sign of these polls being inaccurate, because they just all show the same thing. They all do. And they'd have to be wrong in the entire aggregate by 7 to 8 percentage points in the popular vote for Donald Trump to lose. So when you look and you see Congress doing this, what does it show? They're trying to stifle Trump's second term. And they wouldn't be trying to do that if they didn't think Trump had a sizable chance of getting the presidency come 2025. And they know that. They know he's the favorite as of right now. There is panic in Democrat headquarters. Now, we don't know where the polls are going to be 10 months from now. We don't know what the political climate's going to look like, but Trump is very much in this. He's very much the favorite, and the establishment is in complete panic mode. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Red Eagle, out.